Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mandy, would you please call the roll? Here.
Ringerhorst. Here. Butler.
Here.
Carlstone.
Here.
Hopkins.
Right on the phone, Dave.
Here.
Right. Here. One delayed here. Okay. So before we get started tonight, I have a couple comments to make. In a moment here, I'm going to request a council member to make a motion to indefinitely remove agenda item E1, which is resolution number 661 from the agenda, which deals with going to bids for the recreation center. So I want to just do a quick review of where we're at and why I'm doing this, so that there's no misunderstanding. So if you look on the up there, initially on April 19, 2022 was the first time that we introduced, the City Council introduced a long-term facilities plan. Prior to that, there had been quite a bit of background work done in community, speaking to people, testing the support for a project like this, especially with our largest employers. And also part of the plan process was to try to raise some funding for a project like this, which I felt was very important for us to do, is that we had private support. So prior to that, I'd spent some time with some of our larger employers, some of our historically large supporters of community projects. So on April 19 of 2022, we rolled out a $45 million long-term facilities plan, and at the same time I could announce that we had $12 million of private support for the project, which I don't know who you are or what your thoughts are, but if $12 million of support isn't a good indication of some real support for a project, I don't know what is. But anyway, so the rest of these meetings, these are all meetings in which City Council discussed the long-term facility plan over the next, it's now almost 4 years, or 2 years, since we first started to talk about it. So we've had many discussions, many changes to the plan, and all of those. So Mandy, can you go to the next slide? And so this was the original plan on April 19 of 2022, a $45 million plan. An indoor rec center, extension of University Street, some money committed to renovation of the community center, and then the sources, at that time, the sources of funding included a local option sales tax bond, which the $17 million at that time, when in the run-up to the vote on local option sales tax, we said many times that the plan was to use 50% of those revenues to issue a bond to help pay for this project, because the goal, one of the other goals of the plan was to not use any property tax to pay for the building of the project. So local option sales tax, we had cash on hand. The other $23 million was the private funding. We also, as some may recall, we went to the county, to the school district to see about getting some additional funding. But that was the original plan. So we went down that path. We got the other thing that happened in June of 2022. We appointed a committee of 11 people from the community along with staff to, number one, choose an architect engineer for this project, and number two, to work with the architect engineer to come up with a plan for the facility. On that team were people with all kinds of interests, basketball, volleyball, swimming, soccer, dance, a wide range of people who worked very, very hard for 6 months on a plan for the facility. They met, I believe, Jeanette's not here, I don't think, or was it weekly or at
We
least?
met quite a bit.
Yeah, they met, they went and visited other facilities. So anyway, so if nothing else, I want to make sure and thank that group for the dedication they had in working with this, because I think by the end of 2023, they had a very nice, well thought out plan for a community center. And so once we had the plan in place, we started to get some cost estimates, so we had some more discussion about that. We also formed a fundraising group to go out and try to get more support, which I'm happy to say that $12 million grew to a little over 15.5. So again, indication of community support for the project is pretty evident. But so anyway, we worked 2023 on a plan. Got the architects, engineers, drawings up to speed, so we were ready to go to bid. We were planning to go to bid on February, which, according to the construction calendar, seemed like the best time to do it. On February 20 this past year, City Council did not move the bid process forward, inexplicably for whatever reason. So I have to reconsider how to move forward on this project, because there's no less support now than there was for it. When our largest employers are willing to support a project in amounts that they have not done in any other community project, that's a great indication of how important this is. So the idea was to go through our budget session and then bring it back. For myself personally, going through the budget session further solidified the necessity of this project. As we talked about a potential tax increase. For us moving forward as a community, no one wants to do that. No one likes to do that. We've been able to hold the line for a lot of years. But the reason we've been able to hold the line for a lot of years is because of our growth. Our tax-based growth, our assessed value growth, because we're in a thriving community. There's a whole lot of people that are paying less property tax than they did in the past, but it's because their house has been devaluing, and ours, I'm happy to say in Pella, that doesn't happen. So anyway, after a lot of thought, I think that the best approach, because I am as committed to getting this project done as I ever have been, I want to make sure that message is clear. I talked to a lot of people. I went to all our large funders, and I told them what my plan was. And again, it's unbelievable how we are blessed in this town by the support we get from some pretty significant companies and families. They all said, everyone I talked to said, we're fine with slowing the process down, whatever we have to do, it's got to happen. And so the support from that group is still there, even if it takes us a little longer. So that's the idea, to take it off the agenda indefinitely and do some more work. Obviously, I can't do anything without at least 4 members of the City Council supporting it. So I've got to figure out a way to build some consensus around this thing, do some more work, and I'm more than happy to do that. I just want to make sure that the message is very clear of why I'm asking to pull this off is for that reason, not because I don't support this project or there's any less support from the community. I just think it's a wise move to pull back now, spend a little more time, and come back, bring it up later. So maybe it ends up being a year delayed. We were hoping to start this spring on doing some work, but maybe it's going to be another year. But the clear message I get from our supporters is, hey, that's fine. We just got to have it. We just simply have to have a facility. So that's the plan. So I'm asking some member of the City Council to to make a motion, and it'll say to a motion to indefinitely remove agenda item E1, resolution number 6661 from the agenda.
Writing that down.
Yeah.
So moved.
DeYoung,
Support.
Carlstone, support. Is there any discussion?
Do we have to, it will stay there in perpetuity then, right?
It'll come off the agenda because
Okay.
you're postponing it indefinitely. And
Okay.
so in the future, when you want to bring it back, it'll just come back on as a
Okay.
new agenda item.
That makes sense. Okay, thank you.
Well, if you notice the last few months, or since it's been on every
Yeah,
agenda this way,
absolutely.
it doesn't have to be on the agenda
Sounds
until somebody wants to bring it back. Anything else? Okay, all in favor, please say yes. Opposed, no. Andy, please call the roll.
DeYoung,
Yes.
Carlstone,
Yes.
Hopkins,
Yes.
Van Strylen,
Yes.
Reindeerhorst,
Yes.
Butler.
Yes.
Motion passed. So now do I have a motion for approval of the tentative agenda as amended, removing agenda item E1, resolution number 6661.
So moved.
Support.
Reindeerhorst, DeYoung, any discussion? Okay, all in favor, please say yes. Opposed, no. Mandy, please call the roll.
Reindeerhorst,
Yes.
DeYoung,
Yes.
Butler,
Yes.
Carlstone,
Yes.
Hopkins,
Yes.
Van Strylen.
Yes.
Motion passed. Yeah. No, I'm there.
Okay.
I got it different. So at this time, I would like to reappoint Marty Rocker to the Civil Service Commission. Marty has served on the commission since 2010. She is a former city council member and former member of the Pella Community Ambulance. If approved, Marty's new 4-year term would expire on April 1, 2028. Can I get a motion for approval?
So moved. Support.
Van Strylen, DeYoung, any discussion?
She was a great council member.
Yes, she was.
Okay, all in favor, please say yes. Opposed, no. Mandy, please call the roll.
Van Strylen,
Yes.
DeYoung,
Yes.
Reindeerhorst,
Yes.
Butler,
Yes.
Carlstone,
Yes.
Hopkins.
Yes.
Motion passed. This time we have opportunity for a public forum. Anyone wishing to address council regarding any agenda item, please step forward to the microphone, state your name and address, and try to limit your comments to 3 minutes. Okay, we'll move on. I'll entertain a motion for approval of the consent agenda.
So moved.
Support.
Reindeerhorst, Carlstone, discussion? Okay, all in favor, please say yes. Opposed, no. Mandy, please call the roll.
Reindeerhorst,
Yes.
Carlstone,
Yes.
Hopkins,
Yes.
Van Strylen,
Yes.
DeYoung,
Yes.
Butler.
Yes.
Motion passed. Okay, moving on to ordinance number 1036, entitled an ordinance amending the zoning ordinance of the City of Pella, Iowa by amending the boundaries of the CC district to include property generally located at the southeast corner of Washington Street and Highway 163, and directing the zoning administrator to note the ordinance number and date of this change on the official zoning map. Mike, could you explain, please?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'd be happy to explain this item. For those watching at home on Pella Fiber and those in attendance, I'd like to direct your attention to Mayor Ward for a brief presentation of this item. As Mayor Ward stated, Quick Trip has submitted 2 rezoning ordinances that we're considering this evening, and I'll save everyone some time. The 2 ordinances on the agenda, 1 presentation. So this is the same presentation for both ordinances that we have this evening. So where we're located, just to orientate the property up here, we have Washington Street is located right over here, Highway 163 is right over here, and the northbound branch, Highway 163, is right up here. Now, the properties that we're considering this evening are within this yellow highlighted area, and the request on both of them is to rezone the property to community commercial. That's the city's main commercial zoning district that we have as well. So let's go ahead, please, Mayor. Now, anytime we consider rezoning requests, we always wanted to talk about alignment with the city's comprehensive plan. The future use land map is one item that we consider anytime we look at this. We also consider strategic goals that are identified in the comprehensive plan. If you were to read through the commercial comprehensive plan, rather, what you would find is there's a heavy emphasis on growth and commercial development. The Washington Street corridor is identified as a high growth area for the city, and what's envisioned on Washington Street corridor is commercial development as well. Now, what I'm showing up here is what the future use land map shows these parcels to be. And what we have identified with this parcel is community commercial mixed use, and that is a version of the commercial zoning district that we have. And then what the comprehensive plan did at the time was just follow the current zoning classification for parks, so that was already identified as general and industrial as well. Based off staff's analysis and what the proposed use from Quick Trip mentioned or proposed to the city, we believe the proposed rezoning does align with the city's comprehensive plan as well. And one of the key items, once again, is it's not only the future use land map, but we also want to take a look at those strategic goals and the emphasis that was placed on commercial development within the comprehensive plan as well. So let's go ahead, please, Mandy. And I believe we covered the first part here. It is important to note that the M1 parcel that is being proposed to be rezoned to CC this evening has not yet been created. So what we have is a conditional rezoning with the condition is that the plat survey being approved and recorded within 12 months of the rezoning approval by the Pella City Council. If not, it would revert back to current zoning, which is M1. It is important to note that the Planning and Zoning Commission unanimously approved both of these rezoning ordinances. And finally, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to mention that the applicant is requesting a waiver of the reading of the respective ordinances this evening. So with that, that does conclude the staff presentation.
All right, thank you, Mike. So I'll entertain a motion for approval of ordinance number 1036.
So moved.
Branderhorst, Carlstone, any discussion? Okay, all in favor, please say yes. Opposed, no. Mandy, please call the roll.
Branderhorst?
Yes.
Carlstone?
Yes.
Hopkins?
Yes.
Van Strylen?
Yes.
DeYoung?
Yes.
Butler?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Move to set aside the rules and place on third and final reading.
Support.
Okay, we got a motion to set aside the third reading. Any discussion? I'm sorry, Vance Van Strylen made the motion and support. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor, please say yes. Opposed, no. Mandy, please call the roll.
Branderhorst?
Yes.
Van Strylen?
Yes.
DeYoung?
Yes.
Butler?
Yes.
Carlstone?
Yes.
Hopkins?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Move to adopt.
Support.
Branderhorst, DeYoung on a motion to adopt ordinance 1036. Any discussion? All in favor, please say yes. Opposed, no. Mandy, please call the roll.
Branderhorst?
Yes.
DeYoung?
Yes.
Butler?
Yes.
Carlstone?
Yes.
Hopkins?
Yes.
Van Strylen?
Yes.
Motion passed. Moving on to ordinance number 1037, entitled an ordinance amending the zoning ordinance of the City of Pella, Iowa by conditionally amending the boundaries of the CC district to include the property generally located at 2103 Washington Street, directing the zoning administrator to note the ordinance number and date of this change on the official zoning map. Can I get a motion for approval?
Support.
Carlstone and Strylen, any discussion? Okay, all in favor, please say yes. Opposed, no. Mandy, please call the roll.
Carlstone?
Yes.
Van Strylen?
Yes.
DeYoung?
Yes.
Branderhorst?
Yes.
Butler?
Yes.
Hopkins?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Move to set aside the rules and place on third and final reading.
Support.
Branderhorst, DeYoung. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor, please say yes. Opposed, no. Mandy, please call the roll.
Branderhorst?
Yes.
DeYoung?
Yes.
Butler?
Yes.
Carlstone?
Yes.
Hopkins?
Yes.
Van Strylen?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Move to adopt.
Support.
Branderhorst, DeYoung. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor, please say yes. Opposed, no. Mandy, please call the roll.
Branderhorst?
Yes.
DeYoung?
Yes.
Butler?
Yes.
Carlstone?
Yes.
Hopkins?
Yes.
Van Strylen?
Yes.
Motion passed. Okay, moving on. Abstract of bills number 2148. Can I get a motion for approval?
Support.
Carlstone and Strylen. Any questions or discussion? Okay, all in favor, please say yes. Opposed, no. Mandy, please call the roll.
Carlstone?
Yes.
Van Strylen?
Yes.
Vanderhorst,
Yes.
Butler,
Yes.
Hopkins.
Yes.
Motion passed. Any council member have any other business you'd like to address this evening? Okay, any member of the public have any other business that you would like to address council with this evening? If so, please step forward to the microphone, state your name and address. Try to limit your comments to 3 minutes.
Right, 2509 Stolpe Drive. I noticed some vehicles that appear to be related to the Pella ambulance service, but they seem to be SUVs or something like that. Do we still have ambulances?
3 of them, right?
We have 3 ambulances, we have a rescue truck, and those SUVs are used for secure car transfers and paramedic tiers.
Used for what?
Secure car transfers, when we have a psych patient that goes 3, 4, 5 hours away, instead of taking an ambulance out of the community, we take a secure car.
Thank you very much.
Hello, I'm Joan Corbin, and I'm here to speak to what was formerly agenda item E. So I guess this is a proper time to do it. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and council members. First, I'd like to thank you so much for your service in the Pella community. As I said, I'm speaking to the formerly agenda item E. This morning, I began my day with CrossFit at PCD, then enjoyed my swim at the Aquatic Center. PCD is managed impeccably and provides both fitness and community opportunities for individuals of all ages. I also love to swim. So I'm grateful that Alex Meyer and her team work to provide the very best aquatics program they can. But GenLink never intended to serve this community in the fitness industry long term. And the Indoor Aquatic Center has needs and also has potential to provide so many more opportunities, such as a high school swim team so our kids don't have to drive out of town during the wee hours of winter, and for Central College to start a swim team program and further triathlon. To be clear, I want this rec center, but more importantly, as the mayor said, our major businesses want this initiative to attract and retain their workforce, as evidenced by the significant pledges that have been made. From outside, it seems that you are stalled in this decision-making endeavor. This happens. In my years of serving on many boards, both locally and at the state level, I have had that happen too. Group decision-making is hard. Some things come to mind as best practices in governance, and forgive me if I'm telling you what you already know. The idea that when a body stalls out in making a decision, it's helpful to look at the organization's guiding vision. If an organization has no mutually agreed upon vision and mission, the risk is high that individual board members will hold tight to their own beliefs surrounding topics, and if they differ from the next board member, a body gets stalled. The second best practice is an awareness of the role a board or council member is playing. The role should be closely aligned with the vision and mission of the organization, should take into consideration the desires of their constituency, reasonably so, and should allow for the third trait of good governance, that is, understanding what your role as a body is versus the mayoral role versus the jurisdiction of the managers of the city programs. And lastly, the willingness and capacity to have your mind changed. In closing, I'll say that as I've shared my thoughts, not because I'm an expert in city governance or believe you have erred, but because I think you're all doing what comes naturally to we humans, and that is holding tight to what you believe to be true. And one way to move forward is to make concessions. I'm hopeful that you will make concessions and work together so this stalled effort can move forward. Thank you for your time.
Good evening. Anita Fisher, 1546 Pleasant Drive. I have a question. I was at the budget sessions, and I really appreciate all of the work and effort you went to that. You did a great job, Mike, in explaining that to us and all the departments. I appreciate your time, making sure that the citizens understand the deep needs we have within our community. So I appreciate that, and I wanted to say that. I am confused with something. I'm looking at the big board. It said that the indoor rec center, and it had 3 bullet points. It gave us the base plan, the full plan, and the 3rd bullet point is items for consideration. 50.6 million in private budgets have been secured for this facility. And my question is this: wasn't there a percentage that was earmarked for the community center in the amount of pledges received?
Not this time. There was just money given. The plan, the 45 million plan, is both projects.
Okay, so, but there is a percentage, you just don't know at this time. Okay, thank you.
Anyone else?
Tim Wilkinson, 908 Monroe Street. I actually came here to speak about the agenda item and then was a little bit confused that I wasn't going to have that chance, but looks like I can. I am in no way here as a representative of Central College, but I can speak to the usage that it accommodates members of the community. And I think that the intention long ago to provide an opportunity for people to use the space that we have, the field house, the indoor track, the weight room, was long before our student enrollment increased to what it is based on percentage of athletes. And so as our teams continue to grow both in size and number, it has become more and more challenging to provide the type of facility that I think our community members need and deserve. And so for those that maybe have not had the opportunity, I would encourage you to stop by the fitness center, or the Kuiper Athletic Complex, at certain times to see exactly how busy it is, both in time of day and season. Because when most of our community members reach out about trying to get in and use the facilities for their family, is also when all of our athletic teams are in the field house using that space. And so it's hard for me to answer phone calls and tell people, yeah, we've got this great big building, but we just can't make time for you. I feel like the community center and the rec center will fulfill that need. And so hopefully we can actually get something done. But again, I just wanted to make sure that people understand the capacity in which the Kuiper Athletic Center functions currently and the limitations that we do have. So thank you for your time.
Anyone else? Okay, then I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Support.
Young, Carlstone, all in favor, please say yes. Opposed, no. Mandy, please call the roll.
DeYoung.
Yes.
Carlstone. Hopkins.
Yes.
Van Strylen.
Yes.
Randall.
Yes.
Yes.
We are adjourned.